Hi guys, welcome to another exciting episode where we get to talk to a past student who has gotten an incredible band 9 on the IELTS. So join me as we welcome our incredible guest. Hi.
Hello everyone, how are you doing?
Okay, please tell us your name.
My name is Eliki.
Okay, so you have an amazing band 9. So
Yep.
tell us how that made you feel as a person.
Job well done, and you know the joy and satisfaction you get,
Yeah.
knowing that all the hard work eventually paid off. So yeah, it's good.
Great feeling. Alright, so let's start with our first question. Now, a lot of test takers, like everybody watching us now, they usually say that the listening, there's a lot of intonations, different, accents. We have American accent, British accent, different kind of accents, Australian, so they struggle with, trying to adjust to all of this accents, and coupled with the speed and the pace at which they speak, which is of course very different from the pace at which we speak as Nigerians. So for you, did you find this really challenging?
I would say I didn't find it too difficult, because when it came to listening, it was love at first sight. I always enjoyed the challenge of listening, right? So it wasn't much of a problem for me. One of the things I struggled with at the beginning was speed.
Yes, the speed.
But I made sure that I did a lot of practice, exercises to, help me address that weakness.
Okay, so let's come down to the strategies you use. You already mentioned that one of your strategies was to do a lot of practices, right? So your practices from Cambridge's, right? Now tell us, during your practices, what were your scores like?
I can't remember exactly what my scores was, but I would say I was within the 30s, 35, 36.
Yeah, so guys, there you have a benchmark for when you're practicing. Make sure you're never below 30 if you're aiming for a very high score. The higher they are, the better your chances. So once you're practicing, make sure you're consistent with that number you're trying to get.
Yeah,
right?
and to add to that, you when you're practicing, let's try as much as possible to go as high as possible you can.
Yes.
Right, because
and maintain it.
Yeah, and because it's a different ball game on exam day.
Of course.
So the higher you can get when you are practicing, the more confident you will be when you are on exam day.
Okay, so let's talk about question types on the listening. Right? How important is it for you to know the question types?
I believe you have to be ready for any kind of question, because you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So you have to prepare accordingly. You have to try different question types, get used to them, make your mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and keep practicing. So that was my strategy. I didn't just focus on one particular question type. I made sure that I had a feel of everything.
Learn your question types. So you think question types in listening are quite different from question types on reading, right? You found them different questions.
Yes.
Now, what was your most challenging question types for listening?
Maps.
Everybody. Has to be. Okay, so
maps.
What was the scary thing about maps?
I was just anxious. Because maps can be very tricky.
Yes.
If you miss one thing, it can spoil everything. So I knew that when it comes to maps, I had to pay attention, zero down on what the guy is saying and make sure that I'm following him or her every step of the way.
So we have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. IELTS increases the difficulty, right? So which part was your favorite?
Part 1.
Obviously,
she's usually the easiest.
Okay. Our test takers are planning to take IELTS. What's your best strategies for IELTS listening? What do you want them to do differently that they're not doing?
I would say what I would propose is what everybody's already doing, which is practice. Practice. You can't get tired of practice. Just keep practicing. Like I said earlier, one of my strategies was to practice with a higher speed.
Yes.
So you can try that as well.
So that's like a tip.
Yes.
Practice with a higher speed if you can.
And make sure you are practicing with the right material, because there are a lot of things all over the internet, and if you're not careful, you can even confuse yourself. So just make sure you are practicing with proper materials, and just keep piling up that practice time. I know, like they say, practice makes perfect. Yeah.
Not just practice, you have to learn these things before you start practicing it. Learn, practice, learn, practice.
Oh yes, definitely.
So talk to us about note taking. Did you take notes while listening?
Did I take notes while listening? Yes, I think I did, but again, I can't remember a lot of these things. But yes, I took notes. I took notes. The importance of taking those notes, or how it helped me, was, I could stay in touch with the speaker.
Yes.
For instance, so I'm following along, taking notes.
There are actually some question types. That's why I asked. There's some question types that I teach my students. For example, matching features. And I teach them the importance of taking notes. Sometimes you see the question, because matching features in such a way that when you listen, you have to match it to some things in the box. Sometimes you hear, but you can't quickly match. So I tell them, you can write down what you hear, then come back. So there are different strategies. Like he said, you need to know this, question types, and they know how they go. So note taking might work in situations like that. Now, you told us that you got comfortable with speed and accents, right? Was that a personal thing, or like was it while you were practicing for the IELTS listening?
Personal, and also practicing, because at that time I would practice with faster speed. I also listen to podcasts.
Yes.
I listen to podcasts.
Try to listen to a lot of things in English.
Different accents.
Yes.
Not just different things, but accents. I will look for, Irish.
Yeah.
I will look for Australian. Just everything. And then there's also the personal part. Listening is natural.
The fun
Comes
thing.
natural to me. And it's English language. Everybody understands English language.
So I'm asking this for my viewers who are preparing for the IELTS, and you're still watching, some kind of things that are not, keeping you in focus. Those things you can keep for after exams, but for exam time, you need to listen to English. Basically, you need to listen to things in English. You need to practice things with various English accents. Stop listening to things that are not contributing to that. So I kind of tell my students to open their ears to English movies, English podcasts. Try to get yourself into the situation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so last thing I want to ask you, give us a golden tip for IELTS. What's your one golden rule?
It's what I've been saying the whole time, which is practice. There's really no, just practice.
Did having a tutor make an impact in you?
Yeah, sure.
That's what one
sure. Yeah, I actually missed that part. That's very bad of me. I had several tutors.
Yes.
Including you as well.
Yes.
You understand? So it was, so that helped me a lot.
Because you actually need someone to point.
Yeah, sure.
All of this thing.
So that helped me sort of build a very, start on a good foundation.
Yeah.
Right. So when I felt that I have learned enough, then I now
began
started
to do it on
practice
your
on my own.
And that's another thing that you need to learn as a person. Your tutor wouldn't do the work for you. I always tell my students, you learn, then you go do the work yourself. Okay, so thank you so much for being part of our show. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's our show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope it has motivated you to hit that 9 score. Bye, guys.